All right. Just waiting for a few to dip in. Then we're gonna start with the VOD reviews. Okay, so this is mid-silver Zenyatta. He's in ranked in this game. I think he's doing his placements right here. And let's turn on the sound here a bit. So I haven't done this one before. I was gonna do this one on my last stream.
Why is my key working?
Since he's streaming, I'm actually gonna turn off the sound. I don't want it to, get flagged or anything. So starting out here, the positioning with Zen here is pretty risky. Actually, I need to fix one thing here. There we go. I forgot my epic pen. So as a Zenyatta here, you don't want to be on low ground, because on low ground you're going to be very exposed to Tracer. You have a Widow that might shoot you, you have Hanzo, Pharah, etc. The enemy team might have a Lucio and they might rush you. So you want to start out here as Zen on the high ground, or in the window up, behind the wall here. Because if you're starting out here on high ground, you can scout if there's a Widow. So if there's a Widow, you just rotate in here and go there, or you go to the window, and you want to make sure that you still have line of sight for your tanks. But you don't want to expose yourself to the Widow, because if you're here on the ground, Widow can shoot you from high ground, and you won't have line of sight for your tanks, because you will be forced to hide. So your tanks are gonna get chip damage and slowly die. And the rest of the team seems to play very far up, so it makes sense for you to play a bit far back, because you don't want to get caught in the panic that might come when your team rushes back because they are too far up. And you don't really need the extra ult charge here in the beginning. It's not that big of a deal, and it's not worth risking your position over it. Great pick, but as mentioned, it's not a big deal. Brigitte will respawn. So right here, we can look at the enemy comp when it's 15 seconds after the game has started, and we wanna press tab, look at what they have, because if they have a Lucio right now, all they have to do is rush you and you're dead. You have no escape as Zenyatta. So they have a Reinhardt. It seems like the Reinhardt is, on the enemy team is very defensive, because his shield is already low and he's not even pushing the choke. Which means that in this situation it's okay for you to be this far up, because the enemy team doesn't adapt to your aggressive positioning, or greedy positioning I would say instead. So you see here, Mei and Hanzo died, and now you have to back off because it's 6v4. And it's understandable that you want to frag out and so on, but you can frag out from far away and you just want to tell your teammates to come back. And if they don't listen, you make the best out of the situation. You try and frag out from high ground. And if you want to adapt to this situation where Reinhardt sits in this location and Brigitte sits here, you can walk up alley when the enemy team is respawning, and you use the high ground on alley. That way you can still fire into the choke, and you can still orb Reinhardt, you can still orb Brigitte and so on. So yeah, as you notice, Mei walks in for free, and this is risky business. Nice kill on Genji there. Really good. It's an unfavored matchup for sure. Like the Genji has a way easier time to kill you than you have killing Genji, especially when there's a Mei with you, against you. So it's a good trade. Well, not a good trade, but it's not a good trade because you died and you was in. But it was a 2v1 situation, so you made the best out of the situation. You have trance, so when you respawn now, you can tell your team, I have trance, play back, play safe, wait for me. You should take, when you respawn here, you want to take this exit because it's closer. You have a lot further to run if you go this exit. It looks like the team wants to fight, so you should pop your trance. And if you go to this position, you see that Diva lost her mech. Brigitte is dead, but Diva killed Mercy. You see a Hanzo and a baby Diva there still. So we can assume that the baby Diva will die. She just has too little HP. But the Hanzo is still alive, and you don't know what it looks like on point, but you have your ult. So in this moment, you can think like this: if I want to use my trance, I'm gonna move up and use trance. If I don't want to use trance to fight on point, then you simply don't walk up, because it's very unlikely for that Hanzo is gonna survive this, since no one else is on the point and the enemy team is killing everyone. So when you end up here, if you don't use trance, you're simply giving the enemy's ult. So you use trance. You couldn't save Diva, but that's fine. Let's move back here a bit. So Hanzo is there. Yeah, unfortunate that Hanzo died. Okay, so after trance, you want to put orb on Hanzo or Reinhardt. One of them. Because you won't have orb when you start shooting here. It wouldn't have made a lot of difference, but it could have kept Reinhardt alive 1 second extra or something. Hanzo got headshot, so you can't do anything about that. You want to back off in this moment, because if you die right now, and let's back here. So right here, when the timer is at 50%, you want to have a thumb rule that you back off, or you die on point. Because if you die at the second tick or further, let's say at 60%, or 60% is here. So when you die at 60%, you will have if you die at 60%, you will have forward spawn, and you will be able to take a new fight early on. But if you die at anywhere in between this section, then you will have back spawn, and you will have to run all the way from third spawn to second point. So to avoid that, just keep an eye on the meter and make a decision before 50% if you want to stay on point or if you want to escape. And if you want to stay on point, you might die, and that's totally fine. You know, if you can't save it, you can't save it. And yeah, don't stall yourself. You want to win a fight versus Mei that shoots icicles, because she can just ice block, and then yeah, she won't die, and you might get headshot twice and then you're dead. So there's no reason for you to stay here, because yeah, you're gonna end up dying. This is okay. This is okay. You want to keep farming around the corner here, this corner, because you can line of sight, you can charge up your left click and then try and headshot someone, and you know, build your ult, etc. You don't want to step out like you do here, because right now you're exposed. Anyone can shoot you from window, choke, they can come flank you from here. And yeah, Zarya walks up to you. Oops, wrong pen. So Zarya walks up to you. There's no reason to challenge her and walk out. You just keep peeking the corner. If she uses bubble, you don't want to shoot her. If she doesn't use bubble, you discord her, headshot her, and do what you can. But you want to play safe around this corner here. You don't want to overextend as well, because if you can't get another kill within 2 or 3 seconds, you're by the way surrender. So yeah, if you can't get another kill within 2 or 3 seconds, you want to start backing off, because otherwise the enemies will respawn and they will be able to catch you off guard here. So you have your trance up, which means that you don't have to be as aggressive. You don't have to be as far up. Right now you're in front of Reinhardt. Reinhardt is right here, and you're not the tank, so it would make sense to fall back a bit. Put orb on someone and charge up your trance, that's all. Unfortunately, sometimes you can't do anything about this, you know, when the team moves forward and, you know, everyone is just aggressive, runs in whatever. So just make sure that you're playing safe, so that you can't be flanked, or maybe you can't be focused, and make it hard for the enemies to reach you as a Zen. I mean, because since you have no escape, like Doomfist, he has punch, he has you know, leap, etc. Winston has his leap, Diva has boosters, Genji has dash, Tracer has recall and blinks, etc. But Zen, you don't really have anything, so you have to plan ahead where you're gonna escape, and you have to assume or predict basically where enemies might come from. And that's how you can counter DPS that's flanking you. Let's see here. So you don't want to always automatically use trance, because if you look here at the cart has barely moved. 2 enemies are dead. So Reinhardt won't be able to swing, Genji won't be able to get resets. And the only person in front of you shooting is a Zarya that's basically zero energy. So if you save your trance, you can take a really good second fight after this, even if you die or even if your team dies. Because it doesn't really matter if you win this fight because of the cart location. If you lose this fight, and let's say that you don't have trance, you lose this, the cart will push maybe until this part. It's going to be around the midsection of second point. That's fine, it doesn't really matter. But if you use trance like this, you overuse your ultimates and you let the enemies get on equal level as you, and you don't want that. You want to be more effective and efficient than them. Again, there's no reason to melee the Mei, because if you don't hit the headshots and she didn't escape, she's gonna freeze you and then headshot you. So just play more careful and more strict. This one is okay. So you have a Mei in front of you, you have a Mercy here, and you have a Lucia there. If Mei notices you, like if she sees you, she's gonna freeze you and kill you. And they have beat as well, or it looks like she has beat. So yeah, you're dead if Mei is simply more aware of what's happening around her, and you don't want to be dead, because that's the main reason people in ranked lose objective time and so on, because they spend more time dead or not doing anything, and it takes about 30 seconds to run back to the new fight if you die right here. As you see, yeah, you're instantly dead here. Meanwhile, if you wouldn't have pushed the cart, you could have sat here in the choke, and you can shoot at the exact same targets, do the same amount of damage, but you won't die as easily. Let Brig, D.Va and Reinhardt tank for you, otherwise it's pointless to have tanks. So you see here, 218. Now you gotta run all the way back. It has already been 20 seconds. No? Yeah, 20 seconds. No, wait. Yeah, 20 seconds. And now it's 30 seconds. And it's not even the second fight yet. You're pre-fighting. You're just poking right now. And since Brig died, again, there's no reason for you to be here because of the rain shield. I understand you have 93% on trance, but you're gonna regain it. And yeah, since Brig died, you're gonna have to wait another 20 to 30 seconds for her to run back. So that means you don't want to get caught off and stagger yourself. You almost died here. Instead of focusing the Venomine, focus the heroes that are there. They are easier to hit. No reason to use trance. 4 people died, Mercy rest. So if around 3 people died, no one is low, you don't really need the trance. You might as well save it for our next fight. Then you press tab just now and you saw that the enemy has, let's see here. Okay, so we gotta take this in slow motion. You press tab really quickly. Wow, I'm missing it all the time. Okay, let's do this. When you press tab, you wanna keep tab up, otherwise it's pointless to press it. So I assume you're looking at the medals over anything else, because you can't process the enemy comps, you can't process the ults within that quick of a tab. I can promise you that you can't process it, because you're not thinking about the Widow that's in the enemy's team. You're not thinking about the Genji that's there. You're not thinking about the Brig, because you're not thinking about them because you're moving up here as if there's no threat, you know. What if a Widow is here and headshotting you? Like, it looks like you're focusing on the medals, and, you know, quickly press tab to see if there's anything golden, then, you know, move out. Right here, you're dead if there's a Widow hitting your head. You don't have to play in front of the payload. You want to play behind the payload so you can block these shots. And you're intentionally moving into the shots as well. So you have to learn how to predict the shots, you know, the projectiles, because the Lucio shots are easy to dodge on long distance since you can see them. You don't have to walk forward again. Instead of walking like this, just walk like this to the side to see what's happening in the middle here. Because if you move to the side, you're keeping the same distance, but you can see what's happening. Right here, you're not thinking about the ability to step to the side, but since you can't see the enemies, you can't keep shooting, you probably feel inclined to press forward. And if the Brig stuns you, you're dead. If anyone else stuns you, you're dead. Reinhardt might have Shatter, etc. Yeah, you see, you got bladed, but you didn't play around it. So when you're attacking, you have to also remember, same as on defense, you only had Brig as the second healer. So playing Zen in this moment isn't really efficient at all, because you have really little heals. So you might want to go for Ana in that case. And you can also go Mercy for heals. You don't really want to go Moira, because you need a Lucio for Moira to work with tanks. Well, you don't need to, but it's way easier. And now that you're on Zen, you have to be extremely careful that you don't die, because if you die, the only healer left is Brig, and she can only heal every few seconds. If she decides to heal even. You don't want to stand in front of the enemies here, because if you move to the statue, you can peek, and you have to find the rhythm, with your I think it's right click, no, left click, left click. So you peek and you hide, and you don't let the opponent shoot you for free, because if you look at your HP, you're almost dead. There's no one protecting you, and if you die here, you're gonna have to wait to fight again. And I understand, the farming for trans, but if you play smart, you can still farm trans. Also think about Junkrat and his traps and mine. If you would flank from... let's see here. If you would flank to the right here, you would be able to shoot like this on the enemies, and they wouldn't be able to react to you, because it looks like they simply aren't aware of what's going on, because they're shooting into main here, and they are fighting the brig here. And that way you're playing safe, but you're also getting behind the shield, the enemy Rhino shield and so on, whatever they have. And yeah, just a small tip, like how you can charge right clicks. You have to keep in mind that if Tiger is coming, you have to line of sight. That's your best friend. In ranked, I mean. You don't have to position yourself to deal damage, because you already have trans. Just look for Discord and keep that Discord alive by peeking them. You won't have vision, you don't really need to shoot at them. Use the payload to stay safe, and simply use trans when they engage, and that's it. Right now you want to move to the left here, so that you're staying safe. You want to use the corner right there. Again, no need to move forward. You're killing yourself. It's not Genji killing you, it's you killing yourself in this moment, because you can stay further back, and it's happening so often, so you're giving away free kills, essentially. But it's not that you don't know it. I think you're just focused on the damage you can do with Zen, and it's a common trap, like for many, including myself. When I started learning Zen, the way you deal with it is think about every corner, every major corner in the second phase. If you think about the bookstore corner, that's usually where fights happen. Then the second corner is by the bar, where you just died. But on the other side, that's the second corner. That's also where another fight happens. And the third corner, that's right before a second point. And if you keep in mind these corners and think of the payload positioning, you want to position yourself so that you can dodge Diva bombs easily. You don't want to get caught off guard by a Genji. You don't want to have a Reinhardt swinging in your face and so on. And if the enemy has Lucio and they rush with speed, all you have to do is simply back off, turn around the corner, charge up right click, headshot whoever it is, and keep your Discord up. If you can't see enemies, you don't have to chase, because they will reappear. So just keep this distance. You don't have to walk forward, you don't have to change anything, just hold the distance. And keep moving orb to whoever needs it. That way you don't have to, force out trans as quickly, I mean. Because you want to save trans for blade as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this VOD. Are there any questions in the chat before I start the next one? Okay. Let's take this one first. So this is a Reinhardt main, and he's playing on PS4 as well, so there's a bit different aiming techniques and so on. Yeah. So I'm just turning off the sound because it's hard to filter, whose voice is talking and what they usually talk like and so on. Pretty standard opening. You want to be ready with Fire Strike here. So as you move up, this is just a small tip for extra charge. So right here, you want to send your Fire Strike, and you want to hit someone, maybe hit someone, because when you're up here, you can't really Fire Strike anymore. You gotta hold your shield up, and Fire Strike is a really long animation. So you want to put yourself in a position where you just use it beforehand, and you'll gain 15% charge, or 5%. Well, let's see what's happening here. So moving up a bit more. Yeah, so when the Doomfist came here, you don't want to move to the side, because when you move to the side, you're breaking line of sight for your healers that are maybe in the stairs, or maybe they're on low ground. So you want to stay here and you also give free shots if someone steps up here in stairs, or is flanking from high ground. So keep fighting here behind this pillar, and you just want to swing right now until you see someone that can shoot projectiles or bullets and so on. So you see, you can't really be healed. There's an Anna right in front of you here as well, and there's a Winston Doomfist, and you can't really give them the space on point, because if you give them the space as Reinhardt, it's really difficult to push back in, since you need to hold your shield up when you push back in. But if you keep swinging here and making space for your team by swinging, you can notice that you have a Brig with you, and you have a Zarya with you. Zarya can bubble, and if you start swinging, you're gonna kill the Doomfist. You're gonna push out the Anna, throw a Fire Strike to someone. Make sure that the enemies can't get to your backline for free, or that Doomfist can't punch you for free. because if you position yourself here, that's an easy punch for Doomfist. And if you keep yourself here, if he punches you, you'll land outside of the point and you won't take the extra damage. So yeah, you don't want to break line of sight from your healers, as I mentioned. And if you get rushed, let's see here. You have Moira with you. Yeah, so Moira can't heal you here, or it's really hard. And you notice that they can't get on point if you don't push up. So instead of going for the Winston, D.Va here, or Brig, I saw that Brig was low, of course. If you just keep swinging to whoever is closest to you, that's gonna benefit you a lot more than having to chase or, you know, trying to find a kill, because you don't have the ability to stay alive if you're getting rushed or punched and so on. And you want to build up your charge, you want to make space for your teammates to walk up and be able to do something on point. Hanzo should also be flanking here. He can flank here. He can be on high ground shooting down, etc. And he can also climb up here. Hanzo can't really do much from playing here in stairs, because you will have to expect that if you're playing here in stairs with Reinhardt, the D.Va is going to focus you, or there might be another Reinhardt or another Winston. And if they are focused on protecting main, you're going to have to deal with the bubble, you have to deal with Matrix, etc. And you want to find, not you, but the Hanzo wants to find the backline and, you know, do some quick damage. So your win conditions are Zarya and Blade, or Zarya plus Hanzo. And if you get Grav before, if you get Shatter, your Shatter before Zarya gets her Grav, you want to try and use your Shatter before she uses Grav, because Shatter is easier to miss, and in ranked it's just easier to coordinate around Grav than it is with Shatter. But if you get Shatter, you don't have to use Grav, and you'll farm up Shatter quicker than Grav. So right here, you're the one that should move up. If you're waiting for anyone, you don't want to show yourself and give free ult charge. If you want to push up, you should be the one that holds up shield, you know, kites, you know, jump, push up, put up shield, and then jump again, take down shield, put up shield. It's I forgot what it's called, but it's just a way to move quicker as Reinhardt, but you can just hold up shield and move forward as well. Your teammates won't be able to move forward without taking damage. So this is good. You're doing exactly what I talked about. So yeah, move up. You want to touch the point. You want to swing at whatever is in front of you, and if we go back here. So swing at these instead. There's a Reaper here, I think. No, yeah, Reaper. Whoever it is. No, it's a soldier maybe, yeah. So instead of the D.Va, because D.Va has a lot of HP, you're not going to be able to do anything on her. And there's several targets next to you, so go for swinging on the extra targets, because that's more ult charge. And also possible kills. Now you're just holding stairs. Here's where you're gonna hold. You don't want to give a point now. You don't want to let the enemies walk in. And if they walk up, you simply line of sight, swing a little, hold up your shield, and repeat. Use your shatter as well. Yeah, don't take down your shield and look at the enemy. They'll get free ult charge. When the bump comes, you want to position yourself. So if we take it like this, move backwards if you have to. Yeah, just move backwards here because your teammates move backwards. And if you want to put up the shield, you might as well make it efficient with the positions for the teammates. And you will always be able to block a diva bomb if you're not stunned. So if you simply walk backwards, you can still block it, but it's not only for yourself this time, it's for your teammates as well. So since Zarya died, you want to reset. And if the team doesn't want to reset, you simply let them die. There's no use in trying to win a fight that's already very difficult to win. You might be able to get picks, you might be able to kill people, but you don't win anything on it unless you do, shatter and get 3 people, and you kill 2 with fire strike and then charge 1 and pin them. Should keep staying in main as well, because your teammates are walking up and they need someone to help them walk up. Never let anyone else, like Brigitte shouldn't be the one engaging right here. You should be the one engaging, and there's no reason for you to walk to the side. You have 1.7k HP on your shield. You have 569 HP on yourself. That's more than enough to just walk up here. Try and find a shatter. Try and scout what's up. And use your shield. If a Doomfist comes flying, you can shatter him. Try and make plays for yourself so that you can win more, instead of thinking that you're gonna try and not lose, because this looks like a trying to not lose moment, since you're reacting very defensively. There's a free shatter right here. So you could have shattered right here, get the Soldier and Brig, or you can shatter here and get Winston plus Anna. That's a good shatter. A pick on the main tank, that's worth. Now you just swing and try to stay alive. Right there you could have used your shield as well. Yeah, this is good. This is good. So you know that they're coming from the side. If you now, you see that you have a shatter almost. So if you move here, and right when you're crossing this line, queue up a fire strike. Switch the aim to whatever you can. You want to hit just anything so that you get shatter, and use shatter as soon as you see something that you can shatter. That way you don't have to care about the diva bomb, because if you move to the side, you can line of sight it. And you still don't have shatter. Winston engages on the team for free, and now the enemy backline is coming and they're gonna try and DPS you. Be careful with charges like that as well, because you can miss it and you can also charge out of point. That's a big shatter. Unfortunate with the stun, of course. So since you have a road dog, you want to play on point, or yeah, you want to play on point, and the road dog can be with you, but he can also be on the bridge, just so that you make some synergy with the other tank. So you want to touch point first. That way your backline can keep fighting. Again, your DPS, it's use this as a thumb rule. When the DPS, healers, off tanks, etc. is in front of you and you're very healthy, that's a moment when you should be on point, and when you can press, forward, you can swing, you can do whatever. When you're really low on HP, that's when you have to back off, of course. Good that you didn't chase in there. You can keep swinging here. You don't have to hold the shield. Just keep swinging and move. Keep swinging, use Fire Strike, do damage, because if you do damage, Moira will be able to heal you. Hanzo will be able to do damage. And you don't have to shield against the D.Va, because D.Va has only a burst with her rockets, and then she's gonna do damage. But you can block with the shield when the rockets come out, of course, but you can stand still as well. You don't have to jump backwards and so on. Now the enemy gets the point, or control of the area, of course. And if you don't back off so easily, you have a bigger chance of capping point, punishing mistakes from the enemy and so on. And your team doesn't have to panic as much. So since you kept the point, you want to move up and you want to hold choke, because you don't want to let the enemies walk out here for free, or up here, because if you wait on point for them, you're gonna have to deal with 3 different ways they can attack, as I drew out here. So if, for example, there's a soldier with a visor, he will come out here. If there's a Doomfist flanking, he will go, to the right, to the right here. If there's a D.Va, Winston, whatever, main tanks, they will come main, and you can't cover every angle. So if you cover choke, you cover the one and only, or usually one and only entry point. And now you see, you have to play very careful, and you have to use your shield HP to defend on point. And they can simply poke you down until the shield is dead, and then you have to hide and reset shield, and that's when they can move in and take over point. Okay, so this is wait. So yeah, enemy got cap point. You wanna keep regrouping here. You don't wanna keep the fight going. So you do that, you regroup. That's fine. Charge is good. Yep. This is how you should swing. You should just go swinging like this, and you shut out the enemy. You can use Shatter in this moment, Shatter as well. Now they have Reinhardt, and enemy Reinhardt doesn't have Shatter. So when he uses Fire Strike, because he's gonna want to farm Shatter, so when he uses Fire Strike, as soon as you see him move the hammer up, that's when you press triangle and you Shatter, because it's a super long animation. And you do that, but you were out of line of sight. This is good. This is how you should have held before Lost Fight. You want to make use of your shield. There's no point for you to stay on Reinhardt if you're not gonna keep your shield up and protect the team, but also bait the enemies to come to you or allow Roadhog to do work with his hook. So right now, if you're line of sighting like this, you're not doing anything with the dragon, or you can stand here and you can pin someone, or you can fire strike several people, but right here you're not doing any damage, and you're not shielding anyone either. So you want to position yourself so that you can do something, when the dragon comes out or whatever. Try and be... actually, this is fine. Try and avoid walking in here, because you can't be healed by anyone, and they can't help you and keep shooting. You want to have your shield up by this moment so that you don't get slept again, like last time. You will have enough time to touch anyways. Great wipe. Yeah, second round went a lot better. So you have a D.Va, you have a Hanzo, you have a Moira. You want to move high ground because you can shoot arrows, you can shoot orb, and you can have D.Va matrixing you, and you can fire strike as well. And high ground is way easier than point, because you have to wait 30 seconds anyways for point to unlock. So you might as well get great positions with high ground, and Hanzo doesn't have to take risky position here. You don't have Winston's jumping your backline. You don't know what the enemy might have, so taking high ground is the best starting route, unless you intend on holding static on point. You want to be careful with shooting Zarya there, because that's free charge for her. You don't have to hold shield so often versus Doomfist, because I guess it's reactionary, but right here you only want to avoid the shield, and you want to keep swinging so that you might hit him or might hit someone else, because you're not going to survive anyways in this situation. So meanwhile you're respawning, you get the point, that's good. This is a good position to hold. Just keep in mind that you don't want to walk out and let enemies poke you. Try and go to the other side that you were on, because the enemies are going to come there. The D.Va right here, she's not a big problem until she comes up close to your team. And you're not responsible for protecting the baby D.Va when she chooses to chase. So if you would have been outside of point and looking at what happens in choke, where the enemies are moving, what they look like they want to focus, you wouldn't be caught off, by a D.Va in backline while Doomfist is next to you, and then your backline is getting attacked as well. It's a lot of free space given to the enemy. Great shatter. That's how you should do. You should just keep swinging, and block for important stuff like Diva Bomb and so on. Or if there's a Hanzo using his Storm arrow. You can keep swinging versus Baby Diva too. If she gets her mech, you simply pin her, because she's gonna be stationary. But she never died. Break got to live as well, and then Zara came. That's a risky pin. You don't want to risk the pin, because if you get naded like you did, and I think, no, actually you didn't get naded, but if you get discorded, naded, you'll be focused down easily. If the enemy has a Reinhardt, you're gonna lose the pin war as well. You wanna make it easy for your teammates to move in. If the enemies choose to ignore you here, if you wouldn't have Shatter, you would be simply ignored and the enemies can keep your backline. But yeah, you got Shatter. Great with Diva Bomb. It doesn't look like it was planned though, because if we move up here, you're pinning because you just want to pin into something, and Diva is shooting something here. So it doesn't look like good setup, or like an intentional setup. You want to tell your Hanzo to get high ground as well. That's an okay kill. Now you simply swing. That's it. Great job at the end. Like you seem to know, when you can swing and so on, and it happens more often, from what I noticed, when the point is about to be capped. It feels like you are more inclined to focus on clearing the point and so on, compared to before the point gets capped, or before overtime sets in. You're more defensive and more reactive. So you can try and be a bit more confident in your swinging, and in your Reinhardt and so on. And if you're getting low on HP, low on shield, use your corners to help you for line of sight, and remember to think of the healers behind you so that they can see you. So let's take some questions in chat if there's anything. Then I'm gonna review this scrim, which is from a user called Cheesy Leech, which I reviewed on my last stream. But this is another map that he wanted reviewed. Okay, so let's start this. So looking at the comp, I later got to know that Nihil is Cheesy Leech, so I'm gonna focus on the blue team. So with this comp, you want to fight around the choke here. You want to have Widow shoot from high ground, either here, the roof, or on top of point. And you want to have a Junkrat here or here, you know, jumping, etc. Shooting into the choke, spamming outside, spamming above here. And you want to have Reinhardt hold up here, or by the door. So it's Reinhardt and Zarya. As Zarya, you want to save your bubble. There's no reason to use your bubbles this early. As Reinhardt, you want to move up here. You want to be able to spam. And Junkrat, you want to be on high ground somewhere so that you don't have to use your mine to escape. You want to be far away from the start and use your mine to do damage. Way too much space given. Once the enemy Reinhardt is here, and when the enemy crosses this line, they are basically already in on the point. That's when you're at a disadvantage with this comp. Because you need the choke to do reliable damage with Junkrat, otherwise it's not reliable, it's not efficient maybe. You still get kills, but you can't rely on these missteps from the enemy. There's no reason for Reinhardt to be on Reinhardt if he's not gonna hold in choke, because you wanna use the shield, you wanna use his HP. Otherwise, you can be Winston and you can play line of sight here or here. And Kite. And you have a Zarya as well. You want to make use of the bubbles. Way too much space given again. There's nothing to shield here. Like, there's nothing. There's no position that's worth having here, because if you're Reinhardt, you can swing against this dude. If you look here at their comp, the only thing they have that can CC is Ana and Brig. That's it. That's it. You want to be able to fire strike. You want to swing at this dude so that you get shatter before he does. And you have a Lucia as well, so you want to use speed plus shatter. Go past this dude, press Q, and shatter whoever is here. I assume that the Reinhardt is backing off because he wants to bait the enemy Reinhardt to walk in so that it's easy to shoot on the backline with Junkrat. And it works in lower tiers, but in higher tiers, the opponents or everyone will already have it in mind. For example, if you go into ranked, you won't see enemies rushing to point without thinking about their HP, etc. in higher ranks, because they have tried it in maybe lower ranks and they learned from the mistake, so they don't do it again. And the same goes with scrims. When you, let's say that you're holding too far back, but you end up not getting engaged upon, but you slowly like pushed away and slowly bullied away, you're gonna learn from it immediately if you get wiped, because it's gonna feel like something is wrong in, you know, intuitively. So you give them space, they shatter. Let's see here. When Reinhardt shatters, pins, you want to pin back so that he gets stunned and you don't get knocked back. You have to think about the rock here. He will pin into it. So let's see here. People are running back. If you would hold up here as Reinhardt, you don't have to commit to the fight, but there's nothing to shield here. Either you hold here so that your team can, be a bit forward and the enemies might not be as committed to just running in, or you can hold on point. Because right here you're not doing much, and whoever's running here, they can move through dark, or they can stay here in main. So right now you have given point. Once you give up the point space, it's really, really difficult to regain it when it comes to tanks versus tanks. So tanks survive the best in close spaces. They also do the most damage in close spaces. So yeah, you're forced to reset. So you're keeping Anna and Lucio. Lucio doesn't have to be with Anna here, because Anna can take care of herself. You want to have Lucio the one on point contesting. Well, not necessarily on point, but he can escape anything. So if Lucio is on point, he can move like this, he can move out, he can be everywhere basically. And that means that you don't have to give up high ground, etc. Good anti-snowball. You want to put up, sorry for the light, it keeps dying. So you want to have either Winston or D.Va here to scout basically, because you don't gain much from having everyone up here. It's enough with having Junkrat here, and Anna can be down in the spawn corner here. Just use line of sight, because she can shoot like this if she's in the corner by the spawn. And you can have Lucio up here as well. You can have Lucio scout. You can just sit on the wall here. Having Sombra here means that she can't stealth after the opponents have seen her. After the opponents have seen her, she's gonna be too obvious to read, when she has EMP and not. And it's also easy to just spam here and decloak her. This is alright, having Winston scout there. You don't have to do much as Winston. You just sit here and zap people. You play max range. And if the enemies engage up here, you simply move up. You jump up. Or if you can find any squishes in the backline, you can move forward. You don't use your jump. You just move forward. You place your bubble. Oops, like this. You place your bubble and you keep zapping. And when you have to move out, that's when you use your jump. And you jump up here. You get some heals from Anna. You keep zapping. And soon enough you have Primal. When you have Primal, you simply drop down here. Like that. Turn around. Press Q. Jump in and just swing. And try and lock people into a corner. And you can ask for Nano as well. When you want to build Primal. So enemies walk in for free. Right now no one is scouting the windows, which someone should. So they walk in for free. D.Va doesn't have to use boost. D.Va doesn't need to be here because she can just arrive there later. Instead you can have D.Va here. She can shoot people in the head. She can scout, etc. As Winston, You want to drop down to point instead. You want to contest point. So you drop down point, you zap, use bubble. When you need to, you jump up, get heals, get down. You know, you contest point because someone needs to contest point. You keep doing that, you get some more heals, you reset bubble, you have diva matrixing, you have beat, etc. EMP is coming up, and you want to use EMP in the open here. And you can let Junkrat spam in main versus backline, and you want to let Junkrat have an easy time spamming from high ground. You don't want anyone to contest him, and for that to happen, you need to stay on point, and you need to keep the diva away from going in. So diva goes in. There's a Genji there. Anna shouldn't be up here. She should be in the corner where I mentioned earlier. Because if you're up here as Anna, if you want to heal on point, you need to peek right here. If you're sitting in the corner here, you don't have to care about Blade. You don't have to care about Tracer. You know, if you notice that a Tracer comes, simply sleep or nade or walk back into spawn. You can heal the Winston here, you can heal the Junkrat, you can heal anyone, basically. It's just a more superior point. So you get beat. Yeah, you don't have to use any more ults right here. Good clear. And again, you don't have to be here as Anna, because if the enemies come here, you won't be able to heal Diva or Winston. And if they get poked and you want to heal them, you are forced to move up. And what if there's a Genji here waiting for you, or if there's a 76 here shooting you? You know, they can just peek out, move to the side here, pop visor, nano visor, and just kill anything. You want to play smart with the positioning. So Reinhardt has Shatter. It seems like blue team doesn't know that he has Shatter because they're positioning for Shatter. Thank you so much, Spilo. I had no idea I was referred by Iostax. I'm glad you liked it. Let's continue here. So enemies move up, and now we're forced to back off. Oh, okay, cool. So Winston uses jump to move out, but he has primal up. So you can move up here as Winston, pop primal, and lock someone inside this corner. So right now you notice that Winston isn't really efficient at all because he still has full HP, he still has his ult. And if we move back here, as Sombra, when the enemies move in, this is your cue to EMP. But it looks like Sombra and Winston are too focused on whoever is flanking. Yeah, the 76. And it's important to deny 76 high ground, of course. But the enemy team doesn't have a Zen, so you don't have to focus on the 76 as much. So that's an okay clear. You want to take positions. This is really good. You want to use Tire before a fight because it's a good zoning tool. You can get picks, but also if you use it during a fight, you're immobile as Junkrat. So you have to either position yourself far away and run back, or you might get killed. So this is good. Great pick. So now they re-enter through main. And as Winston, as mentioned before, you want to drop down. You don't want to use your jump, because if you use your jump, you're not going to be able to stay alive very long. Good EMP bomb. You want to keep point almost C9 there. So with the comp blue team has here, all you have to do is rush in with Moira. And stay together, so Moira heal becomes efficient. So Reinhardt, he should press W so that you move forward. And you have to just simply trust Lucio, Moira and Brig to heal you. There's no reason for Reinhardt to be AFK in the choke. Otherwise you lose momentum with the speed and Moira heals. Right now, Brig is in front of Reinhardt, Diva is in front, Lucio is in front. And let's see here what happens. So yeah, he simply stays. That's why Reinhardt is still behind. You want to be in the front as Reinhardt, otherwise it's a wasted pick. So you clear a point, that's great. So this is great, you try and snowball, wait, move back here. So you cap the point, move immediately inside, use Moira. That's unfortunate, you can't really do anything about it. Tire killing. Except positioning, of course. So right now, you're 2 down. You want to reset as soon as possible. So just run out and kill yourself or die on point. So that you don't give ult charge. And also not delay spawn timers. So moving in. As Reinhardt, you want to hug here. Well, you don't have to hug anything, you just have to hold your shield up on point. You don't need to back yourself into a corner, because as soon as you back yourself in a corner, that's easy pin, easy spam, etc. You should be able to scout the Reinhardt coming in here as well. And you can't scout him if you're hiding behind this pillar. For example, if you're in this zone, you won't be able to see. Great Diva bomb. Now you just clear point, stay on point is free. And that's it. Okay, so that's Hanamura.